What's up with it? It's the People's Coach bringing you the Die Hard Fan Show. Yours truly, Cornelius Cole. Thanks for Sports for America for putting me on. Shout out to Nerd Focus Energy Drink. Uh, Shout out to Jerry Invest, the Real Estate Gurus. Everybody there to show you brothers some love as I've started this journey. Um, we're gonna go ahead and get busy. It's a lot to cover real quick in this hour. So first thing I want to start off with is LeBron James last night. Um, I didn't catch the whole game, but I did happen to catch right when he broke the record, the fade away. They stopped the game. He gave his speech. Let the cuss words slip out. Whelmed him. I mean, it happens. But the biggest thing I took away was the building was packed with uh, prominent stars. It was packed with people. Jay Z gave him a hug. The captain himself, Kareem, was in the building handing him the ball. I mean, that was pretty special. Magic Johnson. I mean, the list went on. There was a lot of people in the building watching that. Um, and you just had that feeling that he was going to go ahead and break it. But as soon as he broke it, of course, he left the game. I think the internet kind of crazy. Today, I'm giving a shout out to Berkshire, New York, upstate New York, as they call it. In my travels, they brought me here. Um, but back to what I was saying about LeBron's moment last night. Like, it was a good moment for basketball. I think the sad moment for me was how it ended. Um, didn't really end on a good note. Didn't really end on a good note, if you ask me. Um, Game was just it was a sad moment that they lost the game. Um, these guys didn't play worth much in the game. I didn't see why. Sorry for a minute. I'm trying to mess with my mic real quick. But yeah, they didn't really do that well in the game. Well in the game at all. Um, but it just looked like the Lakers are not very good. It just looked like the Lakers are not very good. That's all it is. Um, they didn't. They don't perform when they should perform. The Lakers are underperforming. A traditional team. It would have been good to see them win. Is all I'm saying from a fan perspective, from a diehard fan perspective, who like to see great things happen. Never shine on no one's greatness, but they couldn't even win the game against the Warriors. Two, but OKC got the last laugh. Like you may have got the record, but we got the win. And as you see the Lakers struggling, they need all the wins that they can get. But that's the thing that I want to start with, as far as breaking down LeBron's passing of Kareem and all these disputes. All this talk about legacy, all these talks about everything that's going on. Um, LeBron's up there. I said that last week. He probably the second best basketball player if you really going by metrics or whatever. I'm one of those old school ones I told you before that he won't surpass Mike in my book, but he put up, but LeBron, of an era that's passing now is Steph Curry's era, and then shortly it's about to be Jason Tatum's and all those guys. Those guys are stepping up, but the Giannis eras and stuff like that. But what you're looking at is what I saw last night was a changing of the guard real fast. It's like LeBron's pretty much had his time, so records are meant to be celebrated and all that. But I also look at it like this, you know, there's now is really going to spark debates. It seems like all of LeBron teammates seem to think he the GOAT. Everybody that's played with him, the younger generations, that mid generation or whatever, think he the GOAT. Stuff like that. But that's fine. They can think what they want to think. Um, but we all know the real. Those that know. Um, and last night was an indication of why I don't say he the GOAT. I mean, his teammates weren't even pumped up to win a game that he set a record in, that he broke a record in, man. It's like, yo, from time broad. And that's what I want to as far as NBA legacies and myths. Well, all sports legacies and myths. It's like you got a true legacy. Everybody go out and they all out for you, and then you got what you saw last night. AD not wanting to stand up. I'm not gonna make a big deal out of that. Bro was probably tired. It is what it is. But um, LeBron, sometimes like the LeBron fans, they'll never to admit who has formed at times. Um, he slacked at times. You never really got that from the Mike and the Kobe's. You never got that from the Kareems. You never got that from the Magics, the Birds. You never got that sense that they was lacking something at times. And this guy gonna have every record in the book probably when he done. I mean, you don't take nothing away from him. He passed, fourth and assist, big time moves. Now he got the score. He gonna probably put the scoring the all-time scoring title out of reach. He'll put the thing out of reach. But all those stats really don't do it for me. Not even Mike's stats is what make Mike the GOAT to me. It's the attitude, the things that you go through. And I heard it today. LeBron beat the 73-9 Warriors for a championship in Cleveland or whatever. And true, he did. And that's a sadness on the Warriors' part. But then they say, oh, he played the tougher competition. See, this season, take it from the people's coach. The legacies and the myths. All the talk about where LeBron ranks, what he does, and all that. And they say, oh, he played the tougher competition because he beat the Spurs. He beat the Warriors. On his way to championships and stuff like that. And then he won in the bubble against the Miami Heat. I mean, but let's not forget he beat OKC in there, and they say, oh, well, it was Kevin Durant, future Hall of Famer. He played more Hall of Famers. He did this and that. I don't think he did. I don't think he did because you got to remember the East wasn't that tough as far as team-wise, team for team or whatever, when he was running through the East, when he was holding the East down. I don't take nothing away from nobody, man. I know all these people lace them up. They go out there and they get it. But I'm just saying, it wasn't like he was going through the Reggie Millers and then the Patrick Ewings and then, or the Alonzo Mournings even, or the Shaqs and the Pennies and all that stuff. It wasn't like he was going through teams like that to just get out of the East. Early on, he was, he did the Detroit thing, and then he did the Boston Celtic thing. He beat some teams, but for me, watching him right now, you wonder what he gonna do to try to get this group of people that he playing with right now to come along. But for me, it's a privilege to see something that great, a record that lasted almost 40 years with 38 and some change or whatever. it's good to see that, a record that's as old as he is. Go figure, you know. Um, but that's about it. Is like team underperforming. Maybe they'll get it together. Maybe they won't. Um, Looking at other NBA notes, then I'm gonna come back to the legacies and myths before it all said and done. But looking at some other notes, notice how the Clippers are slipping to that fourth spot out there in the West, even with the load management, even with Kawhi and Paul George being all out of the lineup. That shows you, um, for me, it's indicative of how sorry the West is. The West's pitiful right now. They not, like the Western teams. I mean, you got you got one team running away with it because the Grizzlies have fell back to earth a little bit. I don't know what's going on with the Grizzlies. You know, they trying to use any tactic in the book to get wins, and it still ain't working for them. I mean, we saw what Dylan Brooks did. We know that was a cheap shot, but a lot of different things are happening. Clay picking up his game, but if they'd have listened to me a long time ago and had him coming off the bench, I think he would have been right. But he on time. Now they got to step it up with Steph hurt. Again, they got to try to figure out what they're gonna do. I mean, the Warriors, they're not looking that great. I mean, it's three teams right now in the West that everybody thought would do something, but they ain't doing nothing right now. That's the Portland Trail Blazers, the LA Lakers, and the Golden State Warriors. I say that from my own perspective because I was never that high on the Phoenix Suns anyway. So but Phoenix gonna claw their way back into it. I was never that high on Phoenix. I mean, I look at teams that got a chance to win a championship, and you say, well, if Anthony Davis just stay healthy long enough, maybe they can do something. But it's gonna take more than that. And because from what I seen, but I'm hearing the trade rumors and stuff, they might make a trade before the trade deadline, or they might be making a trade right now as I speak. Either way, they're trying to get some firepower in there to do some things. But it's a trade on the table, a three team trade or something like that. The Jazz and the Lakers and the Minnesota T Wolves. But I don't know how good Russell is going to make those guys, D'Angelo Russell. But it'll be better than what they got going on right now. And I tell you, what I see in LA is different. I think I said this last week, but man, Dr. Bus got to be rolling over in his grave for what his kids are doing to that organization. It's like you got all these big names that are no names, besides LeBron James. But the rest of them, you got all these big names, no name. You know, Russell Westbrook. You got Patrick Beverly. Patrick Beverly, if I'm trying to win a championship, he wouldn't be on my team. Case in point, what team has Patrick Beverly been on that you say, oh, they over the top because they got Patrick Beverly? It's like Patrick Beverly wouldn't be on my team if I'm trying to win a chip, man. I mean, I'm just gonna put that out there. It didn't work for him in the Clippers. It didn't work for him with the Rockets. The dude was a journeyman. It didn't work for him in Minnesota. I mean, why is this guy still on why is he still on a roster of competitive teams? And then they talking about keeping him and trading Russell Westbrook. Man, Patrick Beverly would have been out of there. We need somebody, we need a true dog, somebody that's gonna do something. I mean, because I think he had a couple of hot years where he played some solid defense or whatever, but now it's just all woof, woof, woof. At some point, he becomes that dog like a chihuahua or something, woof, and back up or something, man. The man ain't got no game. He hitting the 3-point shots a little bit here and there, but like I said, like if I'm looking to move anybody, and Russell Westbrook, I just don't know what's going to happen. But now with Kyrie making that move, getting his way out of Brooklyn and going over there to the Mavs, man, I don't know. The Mavs, everybody can say what they want to say. The experts going to say offensively they good, but I think they be sleeping on Kyrie defense. I'm not a huge Kyrie guy. I think he should do more basketball than anything else. But really and truly, you saw what he did. You seen how in my opinion, he's played the best defense. Well, when they was chasing the chip out there in Cleveland, he played the best defense on Steph Curry I ever seen. Nobody else ever made Steph that frustrated, got under Steph's skin that much the way that Kyrie made him work on the other end too. I mean, those things are key. So I'm looking, maybe Kyrie got that push. I think J Kidd gonna bring that dog out of Kyrie. He gonna say, hey man, I don't need you to be locked down, but I need you to step up a little bit. I think that's what's gonna happen. I think J Kidd know they ain't got all the defense in the world. So if you can play just a little bit of defense here or there, the way the league looking now, you ain't gonna have to play much defense. It's gonna be a race to the finish, and now they got all the firepower. I don't know how him and Luka gonna play. It's anxious to see the game tonight. Check out a little bit of the game tonight and see what Dallas does. When Kyrie laces them up. Might have to wait to see Luka. I don't know if Luka playing tonight, but I know Kyrie's supposed to make his debut tonight. But what I'm looking at is Jason Kidd. Can he get in Kyrie's ear and say, man, just focus on basketball. Just, do what you do. Kyrie gonna be called on offense. Like I said, though, I think they sleep on his defense a little bit. I think he's a little bit better defensive player. It's just the coaching got to bring it out of him. You've seen a little bit of it in Brooklyn. Jacques Vaughn was doing a good job getting that team to play defense somewhat, but it's gonna be interesting to see. But I really think what's his name is a good fit for them right now. I think making the move, Dinwiddie going back to Brooklyn. I don't know how that really looks in the long run, but I think it's a good move for him. I think it's also great for great for Brooklyn to get rid of that, to get that shadow off of them, and now they can focus on basketball. So they got to worry about a guy who always wants to be traded. I'm not gonna get into the things that Kyrie says, man. Forget all that, man. It's about what's on the court. The guy has not been, I heard somewhere they say, well, he wins everywhere he goes. What does he win? Because this was a championship guy. And I know he was trying to get back to the Lakers to try to win, rekindle that with LeBron or whatever. But you never should have left in the first place. You never should have did that. I heard Tristan Thompson say they broke up the team a little too early, but Kyrie wanted out of there. He talked that noise about LeBron. Now he want to go running back to LeBron. LeBron, like, come on home, man. We can figure out a way to win this. But forget that. The Grizzlies, man, they need a boost. They need something. They flailing right now. The Grizzlies, I think they'll get it together in the long run. I think they'll be all right. But one of the biggest things I see is they talk like they want all the smoke, but they don't really want all the smoke. Because if they wanted all the smoke, they'll have all the smoke. They'll be in business right now if they wanted all the smoke. But the things that's key to me right now, the players, bringing basketball back to everybody getting into shape, everybody getting there to play ball. And I heard somebody say, see Myth right here, saying that maybe at some point Luka catch whatever record LeBron ends up setting with the scoring, with this all-time scoring thing. Or maybe Luka, man, y'all got to think Luka not gonna play that long. Y'all see he already. I mean, y'all got to call it what it is. Luka already came in last year struggling, being in shape, so he ain't gonna play that long, because he ain't gonna keep himself in shape after a while. I mean, it just shows. Once he win a championship or two, I think that'll be it for Luka. I think he'll be improved all he want to prove. I mean, you can just tell by certain people work ethic what they want and what they don't want. And Luka remind me of James Harden, man. You could be so great, but you don't want to put in the work to do it. You don't want to, you want to dominate here and there, but you don't want to put in the work to be absolute best. But I'm gonna leave that alone because like when it comes down to it, everybody will see the truth. Everybody will see the heart that people have when push comes to shove. You've seen how Luka, he cried a little bit here and there, but I just don't see, I don't see anybody catching what LeBron about to do to that record. Realistically, because they say, oh well, if you play this amount of games, and they talking about they can't handle an 82 game schedule, so how they gonna catch him? These guys ain't playing night in, night out. They missing so many games. Even if they change it to a 72 game schedule, it's gonna be real hard. So those myths that it may be possible, yeah, it's gonna be possible 40 years from now. The same way it took almost 40 years, 38 years and some change for LeBron to break the record. It's gonna take about that long for somebody else to catch it. That's just the truth of the matter. That person probably not even in the game yet. And that's the thing about basketball is that, it's so many players that have dominated here and there that it's always going to be those clamors for who's who and who got what going on. But I tell you right now, Jason Tatum showing flashes of whatever, but I'm not worried about that. I'm not worried about what he's showing in the regular season. For him and Jay Brown, it's time to get it done in the finals. It's time to Eastern Conference Finals, win again, make it to the championship. It's time to get that chip for Boston. If Boston beats LA to the championship, then they'll be the most heralded team. They'll have the most championships. I know that's important for Boston fans, the diehards. Y'all know what I'm talking about. That tie, break that tie, 17-17, whatever it is, break that tie and be up there by yourself or tie the tie, right? Then the Lakers get one, so they 17-16 or something like that. I know it's close for them Boston fans. It's to catch LA, it's to stay in that race. But what I look at is Tatum and Brown been together long enough that they should get one. They should have had one already, in my opinion. But depends on who you got to go through to try to get there. And it's like my man blocking them this year. Giannis gonna be blocking them this year. I'm still gonna ride with Giannis. I don't think Jason Tatum is gonna beat Giannis this year. I don't think they're gonna do it. But you never know. I guess you just gotta wait and see. But what Jason Tatum is doing is great. But then night in, night out, like he one of the few that's out there night in, night out. But it might be all for naught if you don't get a chip. I mean, I think Boston has that expectation. And right now, they probably the only team that really has that, that expectation of a championship. We thought the Warriors was going to have it, but the Warriors struggling so much on the road that even if they sneak into the play-in, they might be one and done in the play-in. They cannot get anywhere in the play-in. So the Warriors better pick it up because they're supposed to be defending the crown. We can talk injuries, we can talk whatever, but like I said before, it's the laziness. Like they don't play defense on the road. They got these so-called perimeter players, and then Wiggins been hurt, so Wiggins trying to work his way back into shape, trying to get back into the game. A lot of people trying to pop it, but they're not. What's up with it? What's up with it, Cuz, man? Thank you. But looking at the teams that really have a legitimate shot. I told you last week I'm not a huge fan. I'm not huge on the Nuggets. But keeping it in the East, disappointing. It's disappointing what's going on with Levine and DeRozan, man. I would have looked if I was the Bulls. I would have looked. I know they stay hurt a lot or whatever, but I would have looked to move one of them, at least DeMar, send him somewhere. Here's the thing: you're hearing the rumor that the Clippers might be trying to get Van Vliet. Now, if they get Van Vliet, that changes things for Kawhi and Paul George. Kawhi already won one with Van Vliet, so he getting a champion. I mean, you getting a champion. I like Van Vliet. I think he slept on, and it's just because he plays for Toronto, and you don't really see big aspirations for Toronto doing anything. But I do see if Van Vliet could end up with the Clippers. That'll change a whole lot. Like then you got yourself somebody that really wanted. What's up with it, Jerry? You got somebody that really wanted, in my opinion, if Van Vliet, if they can pull that trade off at the last minute or something. But it depends on what the Clippers got to give up to give them. I wouldn't give up Terrence Mann. I've been hearing Terrence Mann name in trade. No, I wouldn't give him up. Because I think he'll be valuable to stretch runs. He's been valuable before in the playoffs for him. So I don't think you should get rid of keeper. Now everybody else might be for the debate. I mean, because what happened to John Wall? The John Wall thing John Wall just can't stay healthy, man. John Wall, it might be just time for John Wall to say, man, I can't go no more and time to focus on doing something else. Hey, I got a spot for you right here, John. You can come help me out on my podcast, man. We can grow and be big or something. But I think John Wall, he has so much potential, and he never could live up to it because of all the injuries and stuff. And then let's face it, he played for the Washington Wizards. That's enough said. That organization doesn't really put stock in great players, and they ain't trying to win. I don't think the Wizards was trying to win since MJ was a part of their their executive group. Yeah, that's what I was saying. They have like the Raptors had the pieces to try to get some draft picks to try to help themselves out. And yeah, John Wall got paid. No doubt he got paid. They all get paid, like but John Wall, he just ain't lived up to the bill. With all the injuries and he had the little mental thing going on. Uh, you know, I feel bad for the bro, but at the same time, I thought he was going to be, I thought he was going to be a force in the league when he first came in. Had the little dance. He was doing the little dances, doing the Dougie and all that. Bringing excitement and then crossing them up. Showing that skill, but it just didn't pan out. Sometimes it just don't pan out. Never reached his potential. Never, I say the same. But I think it's just something with the Wizards. I look at Bradley Beal, and I say the same thing with the Wizards. Like, the guy can put up numbers, he can do this, but he can't take the team anywhere. The teams don't go anywhere. Oh yeah, the John Wall story. Yeah, I think what he's done, as far as a person wise, it has been tremendous. But as far as an NBA player, is like, I wouldn't call him a bust because he injuries took him out the game. There's nothing you can do with injuries. It's sort of like Grant Hill, but not Grant Hill, because Grant Hill continues to try and did some. But it's almost like Grant Hill with the John Wall. You wonder what could have been if it wasn't for all the injuries. Same thing you wonder about. Same thing you start to wonder. Like I said, I started to wonder about the Bradley Beal situation, as far as why did Bill, he only stayed in Washington for the money, man. He didn't stay there to try to be competitive. And you could say it's loyalty. Yeah, he lost his heart. Like, you could say, I'm staying with the team for loyalty. But what's loyal? What's loyal when it's not? I thought it was about winning. I thought the name of the game was winning, and the Wizards are not winning. I had heard they might wanted to do something with Kyle Kuzma, send him somewhere or whatever, which would be good for Kuzma, because I think Kuzma's too good of a player. I think Bradley Beal too good of a player to be settling for that mediocrity that they got out there. But it's a lot of players that you thought would do something, but last night I saw these two guys in that for OKC, the Williams. It was about 3 or 4 Williams on a team, but two of them really impressed me. No, he's never going to win with the Wizards. That's what I was saying. He wasting his talent, like being loyal to what, like just being loyal because they're paying you the most money or something. I mean, he got to be loyal to the money, because he can't say that it's about winning. He can't say that it's about anything other than the dollar right now, because Bill, he's too good. I thought he would have moved along. And I mean, imagine Bradley Beal. Just imagine Bradley Beal in Miami with Jimmy Buckets right now. I mean, that team, they could use somebody like that. They could use another shooter. They could use somebody night in, night out that can score. And then when Jimmy Butler, because we know Jimmy Butler takes some nights off. And then you have somebody like Bradley Beal that'll be there solid. Like, Bill's had some injuries along the way also, but I think that like somebody like Miami could have really. I think that would have been a good fit for him. I think that would have been the best fit for Bradley Beal. Sometimes you look at players and you say and you say where people belong, and I think that's where he belongs. I think like, it's like they say, it's a home for everybody. Like, we see the Rudy Gobert thing didn't really work out in Minnesota. In my opinion, Minnesota can't get out their own way. It's too many, it's too many chefs in the kitchen. Nobody want to be the sous chef. Nobody want to assist the sous chef, nobody want to do anything other than be a chef out there. And when you got that many cooks in the kitchen, it's never going to work. Somebody got to step down. Somebody got to say, hey man, I'm gonna do my part. I'm gonna play my role. I know Karl Anthony Towns been hurt. I know Cat been hurt, but that's the structure of that team. That's why I think D'Angelo Russell moving on. I'm not saying the Lakers is a good spot for him, But him moving on would be a good start to them trying to do something. I told y'all early, if y'all listen to me, I told y'all that wasn't going to work because Rudy Gobert can't score. Yeah, they gave up too much. They gave up too much for a guy that can't score. For a guy who's very, very limited. Take away his defensive player of the year accolades and stuff like that, then Rudy Gobert is just an average player. I mean, not saying that being defensive player of the year not a good thing, but I'm just saying he would be very average. So I don't even know why they wanted that, like try to rekindle like Twin Towers in the era where everybody's shooting the lights out. Right now they shooting 30, 40, 50 threes a game. Some teams shooting 50 threes. Some teams, like the 3-point shot is where it's at. I think you got to go more shooters if you're going to try to compete, especially nowadays if you're going to compete for a championship. And you got to blame the Golden State Warriors for that. I remember when Barkley and those guys, yeah, they gave away their future. And you got to see how the pieces are going to work. I think now a good fit for me for Rudy Gobert, like if he was to like before he went to Minnesota, probably a better fit for him. See, I would have tried to get Aiden from Phoenix and let Gobert go to Phoenix because Phoenix got enough firepower without Aiden. And I think Aiden could help another team. It's teams that could use his scoring. Like I think if Aiden was there in Minnesota, then that would be a better fit because you got a guy that can score inside and out, and plus, he can score inside, but he'd rather score on the outside. So you got that covered. And then with Anthony Edwards, Anthony Edwards is sure enough that he should be the focus. I would have built my team around Anthony Edwards because Karl Anthony Towns been there a while and he just ain't got it done. Let's just face it. He ain't got it done. So I would have built my team around Edwards and put a piece like Aiden around him, put some pieces around him. That's it. Yeah, if the Suns could stay healthy, they could, like right now with the West being so wide open, they could attack. I think they started off giving the Nuggets problems, but now they're not giving the Nuggets problems. Yeah, Edwards is that guy. All the teams that we thought. So let me throw the Suns in there. Like I started off and I said it was Portland, it was the Lakers, it was the Warriors, teams that were underperforming, but we got to throw the Suns in there right now. And it's only because of injuries. But Devin Booker's back, so we'll see what the Suns do. Making a rush after the All-Star, after the All-Star break, everybody kind of lacks right now, which I got to point this out again. So disappointing to see a guy add to his legacy and his team loses like that. Like the effort that I saw. I mean, Schroeder, what's the guy Schroeder? A few years ago, you said, man, Schroeder can play some ball. He's pretty good. But what is it? Is it LA? Does the pressure just get to these guys? Like he's back in LA a second time around. He was pretty good the first time around, but now he's back in LA and he's not that. It's like he's not the same guy. I can't even explain like what I saw last night. But turnover after turnover. I mean, the guy couldn't. It was almost like he was playing for the OKC Thunder last night. Like, man, I just never seen anything like it. As far as hey, let's go out here and get a win for our guy, or let's try to win. It came down, they weren't even competitive in the fourth quarter in my mind. It's like the life was sucked out of the building. I think it's all about the chip. So was loyal because see, that's what I always question myself, man. The loyalty aspect. Kobe wouldn't have been loyal to the Lakers if it wasn't about winning championships. And that's so I wouldn't even be looking like Dame Lil staying in Portland. I didn't get that. Like I still will never understand it. It's like head for the hills, go somewhere where you can win if you're about winning. But we see the game these days, they're not really about winning like you would think they would be, because some of the decisions are crazy. Because by now you should have, it's like Dane Lill should have moved on, Bill should have moved on. It's a lot of players out there that should have moved on. In my mind, Devin Booker should have been looking for a trade or looking to move some pieces around. I mean, the Suns look real good. They made a run here and there, but are they really gonna get over the hump with the way they constructed, with everybody getting injured? And then, you know, you don't get younger, you get older. So loyalty should never be in any athlete's mind that plays any sport. It's just Tom Brady showed you that when he finally left New England. Bill Belichick tried to show you that years ago when he wanted to get rid of Tom Brady. You know what I'm saying? When he was like, Garoppolo was his dude, and then Mr. Kraft forced his head to get rid of Garoppolo and said, Brady, my guy. I mean, it ain't no loyalty in that. So what are you being loyal to? Because as soon as you can't perform for that team, as soon as you're not selling out the arena, or as soon as your performance slips a little bit, they replacing you. So if you're about the chip, go get it. You know, it used to be frowned upon that people would hop teams to chase a chip. But I think the Kevin Garnett's, the Ray Allens, you know, changed. I think they changed that game. I think the Chris Bosh and the LeBrons, I think they changed that game. That's what I'm saying. The money, like you see right now, it looks like Harden's dedicated to trying to win right now. Finally, change his game up, doing whatever he has to do, which wasn't hard for him because, you know, he can pass and he can shoot. But changing his game up to fit Embiid last year, it was like, I don't look like that's going to work. This year, it looked like it's working better. I mean, you know, like, because Harden really wants that chip, and I think what really put it over the edge for Harden, taking less money and doing whatever, is because his treatment in Brooklyn. I think that really said, hey, you know what? Well, I'm gonna go win somewhere. These guys are not gonna win. It's the same thing with like Kevin Durant has no problem with moving around trying to chase the chip. You know, so I think money is an issue as far as like some of these guys. I mean, but Dame Lil could have got more money by moving, no doubt. If Dame Lil went somewhere else, yeah, Harden looks way better than he did the previous couple of years, because now he's understood what it takes to win. And I'm not going to even give a credit to Doc Rivers. I'm going to say that it's one of those things that Harden just made up his mind that now it's time to win a chip. I got all the accolades. I've made a lot of money. I've done a lot of things. The only thing I don't have is a championship ring. So let's go all out to get this ring. But I wish it was the old way that players came in. You know, that's the one thing I can say about, I'm not a LeBron fan, but since he broke the record or whatever, he did come in wanting to win. I don't think the players come in with the mindset of wanting to win. I think the players nowadays come in with a brand. They come in with a brand, entourages. They come in with everything. It's sort of like in the rap game when they say they got the starter pack. The rapper starter kit, you know, the chains, the little swag and this, that, whatever. That, I think that's what the players come in with now. Something ain't right. Well, Crowder, I think he hurt himself. I think when you get on the coach's bad side, you basically get on the organization's bad side, and they probably would have. I think they probably would have made a move. It's tough. Hopefully, Phoenix can get it resolved, because remember, they couldn't make a move. They couldn't do anything with him until they had the whole ownership resolved. But now that they got the ownership thing resolved, maybe they'll do something before the trade deadline. And I want to say this about Crowder. That was my guy, man. I thought he played hard. I thought he was a good player. I thought he was an all-out type guy, do what it takes, understands his roles and stuff like that. And then all of a sudden he butts heads with the coach, don't want to play for the coach. I mean, I don't know why they couldn't resolve that as professionals to get through the season, or to get to a point where they can make a move. or but I hope that doesn't I hope that didn't tarnish him from being on another team, going somewhere to prove that he can play. Now, a team for me that I would like to see crowd on, Milwaukee. Yeah, I would like to see Crowder on Milwaukee, and this is why. He can shoot the three. He's tough. Milwaukee already has a pretty much tough squad, but remember when they won the championship, they had PJ Tucker, and that's what Tucker did. I would like to see Crowder make that move. It'll just give them a little bit of extra. They got the Bobby Porters who already takes that role, the Brooke Lopez. But I think that'll be a good fit. I think so, Crowder, and then not only that, he'll be a part of that championship atmosphere like that. How can you not be inspired playing alongside Giannis? That would be a good move, beneficial. I don't know who the Bucks would give up, or if they have anything, assets to trade, and then it'll solve the problem. Yeah, I mean, if they were to get him, that would be a wrap, because I think that'll solve the problem of the Middleton in and out of the lineup too. Yeah, Middleton being in and out of the lineup all the time. I think that hurts Milwaukee a little bit. So yeah, but then you'll have somebody that's ready, and he should be well rested, and he should be ready to perform. But pushing along, looking at different things, I wanted to put it out there, the WNBA real quick. Some of the things that I'm hearing, but I want to talk about them building super teams first. The WNBA trying to boost their stock by putting good teams. Candace Parker going to the Aces. That's a good move. Now she done teaming up with the what's her name, Asia Wilson or whatever. That might be a good look. But the Breanna Stewart going to the New York Liberty, and the reason why I bring this up is because Breanna Stewart is already a 2-time champion. She's already played with some of the best players in the WNBA, and now she's going over there. And they got that 3-headed monster, Jonquel Jones. I forgot the other young lady's name right now. INSQ. I can't say her name. INSQ or something like that. But is the WNBA not like needing something like that to try to put them on the put them on the radar, put them in people's eyes at times? I think that's what they need. Something like that. Build these super teams. Remember, the original super team was down in Houston, who won all them championships when they first started. The team that's no longer there, the Comets, but they had so much firepower with the Swoops, the Cynthia Cooper, the Tina Thompson, and all them. They had a super team that was like crazy. And it seemed like the WNBA was doing much better then. So I think they do need to stack the teams. And the other thing I want to say about the WNBA is these rumors about the Aces. The Vegas, they just won the championship and saying they paying the players under the table. Well, if they had chartered planes, all the things that Breanna Stewart fought for to get to go to the Liberty. If they had chartered planes and they were getting paid a little better, then maybe they wouldn't need to take money under the table. I mean, I get it. It's breaking your collective bargaining agreement or whatever. But let the ladies get their money, man. Let the young ladies get their money. Stop with the hating on the money aspect. My question would be, I mean, I get it. It's about integrity. It's about your collective bargaining agreement. It's about whatever you had in place. But at the same time, I ain't mad because they getting the money. I'm not getting it back. I'm never mad at the college players when they took money here or there, or whatever. It may, for some people, it may be, a thing of impropriety. But for me, it's about, hey, they're going to use your name, image, and likeness and make everything that they can make off of you. So why can't you get paid at the same time? The investigation is launched. So if they were taking money under the table, I understand why they were taking money under the table. And everyone else should probably understand why they're taking money under the table. Not saying that it's right, not saying that it's even fair if other teams are not doing it. But I'm just saying, for me, hey, they got to do what they got to do because, they're not getting all the money. They're not getting all the light. But then again, the other part to that is figure out a way to generate revenue. They need better. I've said this before, and I'm gonna keep harping on that for the WNBA. They need better marketers. Hit up the people's coach. Maybe I can give y'all some tips on how to market. Y'all need better marketers. Y'all need better something, better promos, better something. Remember all that kind of stuff, the club and all that kind of stuff. Man, the WNBA better start thinking outside the box in order to generate some revenue, or else it's going to be more of that. And now we see the players are not that comfortable with going overseas to play in light of what happened to Brittany Griner. So just try to keep our ladies home, keep our ballers here in the United States, but figure out a way for them to get more paper. It's got to be a way that they can get more money. Because you are using their talents and you are making money off of them. Video games, they try to get money. They try to get money any way they can, even if it means going and play in Italy or whatever. But I think you can do it right here in the United States if you do it right. In the NCAA, real quick, first time that I can remember in a long time. We're not talking about ACC teams, mainly Duke, North Carolina. We're not talking about, we're not even talking about Kentucky. We're looking at Purdue #1, Houston #2. We're looking at the shifting of the guard this year, like a change. Alabama at #3. Alabama. We talking about Alabama basketball. We're not talking football, basketball. I mean, you're looking at those top 3 teams right there. The round out the top 5, Arizona and then Texas. But Arizona probably hasn't been regular within the last recent years, but they always tough. But you're looking at a changing of the guard this year, like something different could happen. Something different could happen in the NCAA for the first time in a long time. And I'm not. There's no knock against the Dukes and the North Carolinas, but you get tired of the same teams. Even Kentucky, you get tired of the same teams sometimes. So it's refreshing to see. And Purdue, out of nowhere, like they got the best player in the land, guy, 7'2", whatever, big, and playing down low on the block. I don't know if he really has a jump shot or not. Got to do some more investigating because we're gonna come back to that. But Purdue looks interesting. We know what Houston's about. Houston was just in the championship not long ago, so we know what Houston's about. The Alabama's a surprise. The basketball, but that's like better coaching, better players. I mean, things are starting around. Things are starting to look good. And that's what I was saying. Well, Arkansas, they might be that team, Jerry, but this is what I looked at as far as that's the guy I saw from OKC last night, the Thunder. They had that guy, Jay Will or whatever. He played for Arkansas. They looking like, after the Jay Will days, look like they still got something to work with. Arkansas looking good. But for me, I know it's a little redundant, but don't sleep on Kansas, man. Don't sleep on Kansas. They might find a way to wiggle their way in there. But I'm excited about Purdue. I don't think Purdue is going to go the distance with it, but I expect them to be around at least Elite 8 or something like that, really pushing. You never know, though. They might win the whole thing. They might, win the tournament because the tournament's around the corner. You're starting to see teams rounding the shape. And on the women's side of things, so South Carolina, man, they beat UConn, and then Gino Auriemma, who's had the NCAA women's basketball on lock, got the nerve to be complaining, man. Come on, Gino. I was just giving you credit a few weeks ago on my show, saying what a good job you do, and now you complaining about your players getting beat up by South Carolina because South Carolina got your number now because Don Staley finally realized how to coach against you. They play that physical ball on your finesse teams and stuff like that, and you said it's sickening. Some of the things that you hear as far as regarding the teams. I mean, come on, man. It's just basketball. Ain't no thugs out there. Ain't no whatever they saying. I heard Dawn Staley defending her team and some of the things she was saying. I mean, I can't believe people would even say that about basketball players, let alone, women basketball players. Oh, they thugs, they this, that, whatever. No, they just play a physical basketball, and you got to get on that page. Nothing wrong with a little physicality, as long as it's not egregious. They're not body slamming people. You know, they're not Detroit bad boy, Detroit Piston in it. They're not Boston Celtic. You know, they're not Boston Celtic Kevin McHale. I'm gonna take you out with a clothesline. You know, they're not doing any of that. They just playing physical. I mean, Gino tugging at the heartstrings though with the bruises and stuff. Man, they basketball players. Any athletes, most athletes gonna have bruises regardless of what. There's gonna be bruises. I mean, you get hacked across the arms, a hard foul, it might leave a bruise. I mean, different things are gonna happen. So I just don't like. I think it's tacky on Gino's part, and I think he's better than that. Man, get your team ready. Get your team ready to go. You know, that was the matchup in the championship last year. For those that don't know, South Carolina against UConn, and South Carolina beat them last year. So you're really looking at, you know, they beat them like the last 3 or 4. Here lately, they got their number. Whereas UConn was always crushing them, but now they come to play. You got to be able to play. And before I get out of here, I was been on the NCAA tournament. Purdue, you might have the best player in the land, but I don't know, and you might be the best team number 1 right now. But my thing is a lot of times when you have the best player, always win. They'll always win when it comes to the tournament. I was gonna say, remember. One of my favorite players, throwback. We talking legacies, we talking all that stuff. How about college throwback? Glenn Big Dog Robinson, man. How cold was he? How good was he, man? And you thought he was going to be great in the NBA. You know, back injuries in the NBA. He made a bunch of money right off the rip, you know, coming in. But Glenn Big Dog Robinson, man, NCAA. Remember what he was doing? That boy was dropping 50. That boy was dropping 50. A good shot, 1982, whatever, to win a championship. Whoop, whoop. But Glenn Robinson was one of those guys I actually saw drop 50 in college, like a few times, 40s and 50s for Glenn Big Dog Robinson. So shout out to that. Since we talking NCAA and we talking legacies, my show was about the legacies and the myths. Show, Super Bowl. Said, oh, it's Black History. Oh, you know, 2 black quarterbacks for the first time and all that stuff. And that's all good. Happy for them. I mentioned it last week on the show. I was talking, but for me, it's a Texas thing. But because I'm a Dallas Cowboy fan, I am sticking with my pick, the Chiefs. However, I'm sticking with the Chiefs. I want to see Patrick Mahomes get 2. Be the first black quarterback to win 2. That's where I'm history. No knock against Jalen Hurts. I know, outskirts of Houston here, H-Town. I know he's H-Town kid, but and that would be cool. Somebody from H-Town win it. But at the same time, I'm going for 2. Russell Wilson didn't get it done. Remember, he was robbed of the chance. You know what I'm saying? Remember, he was robbed of the chance. I think his name was Malcolm Butler. Did him in. But what I'm looking for is all you've been hearing about is how tough the Eagles defense is, how physical they are, how good they are. They go sleep on the Chiefs and they go see, but would you be surprised? Would anybody be surprised if the Eagles ran away with it? If the Eagles ran away with the championship? But I don't think Mahomes and Reed are going to take that. I think they learned a valuable lesson a couple of years ago playing against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. But like I said, for me, it's about making a different type of history. It's about be the first black quarterback to have 2 Super Bowls, multiple Super Bowls. You know, you got your Tom Brady's, you got your Peyton Mannings, you got your John Elways, you got, those quarterbacks with 2. I mean, the list, you got the Joe Montanas, the Terry Bradshaws, now can we get a Patrick Mahomes with 2? I mean, not a huge Chiefs fan, but I'm just saying that would be a special moment. That would up the game. That would be one of those things where, like, now we really in the conversation. We really there. You know what I'm saying? I mean, as a black man, I think that's where it's at. It's like, oh, okay, so this black guy, like, they got 1-1-1. Okay, so you can lead your team to 1. Nah, we finna win 2. Like, let's up the game. Because I think from 2, then you get somebody inspiration to go for 3. And then I think it starts there. I think it all sparks like that. I think somebody got to be the first. This is Jalen Hurts makes the 8th quarterback, the 8th black quarterback in 57 Super Bowls. Um, okay, we've seen that 8 times. Now let's see a repeat. Let's see somebody win it twice. Let's get that monkey off the back, and then let's move along. You know what I'm saying? Like that'll be great. I wouldn't be mad if either one of the young men won the Super Bowl. But I'm just saying, for me, double up. I don't know what y'all think, but I think that would be because then you can say, oh, they can do it multiple times. Do something that a lot of players haven't done, which is reach that pinnacle twice. It's hard enough. And if Mahomes can get it now in his 3rd try, he's gonna have a couple of more cracks. I don't think nobody gonna really catch Brady. Nobody gonna go to 10 Super Bowls. I don't think. You never know, but you got to think Patrick Mahomes in 3 and 5 years. So and he only 27, 28 or something. So he got a long way to go, maybe, barring injuries and stuff like that. Barring he gets bored or something. And that's been the thing. Imagine, thinking about legacies and stuff. Imagine if MJ didn't, get mentally fatigued and, different things didn't happen at a certain point. Then how would history look about that last night? It was going to be a whole lot of talk about. It was going to have that conversation. We had it multiple times. It's one of those things that gets old, but it never gets old because they're going to always debate it. And I think the GOAT is, that's up to whoever you are, whatever generation you're from. But for me, I know who it is. But imagine if Mike didn't take those times off or whatever and continue and play continuously. Will we be looking at something different? We've been looking at 8 straight, 7 out of 8. I'm going to go, we would have been looking at 7 out of 8. Or maybe we would have been looking at 6 out of 8. I mean, I'm just going to say that because being from Houston, I think Elijah Wan was going to get regardless. I'm just going to leave. I'm going to put that out there. I think at some point, Elijah Wan was going to get his. Elijah Wan was there before Mike ever got there. Elijah Wan was there in '86. It took him a long time. It took him 8, 9 years to get back. It took a beat down at the hands of the Celtics or whatever. So, Elijah Wan always had that team competing. And everybody talking about officials. Talking about the commissioner of the NFL, talking about he thinks the officiating is fine, is better than it's ever been. You believe that song? Come on, man. Stop it. Roger Goodell, no, that's the furthest thing from the truth. It was some horrible calls here and there in those games. It was some horrible calls. Let's just be real. It was horrible calls. And for him to say that it was great, for him to say that officiating is the best that it's been in a while, I mean, I don't know what he's smoking. I don't know what he's thinking, but that's the furthest thing from the truth. See, that's another one of those myths. Referees, I know they got a hard job, man. I don't take nothing away from the officiating, but they wasn't that good. Like, they could be better. Different things could have happened. And it's like, here's a funny thing to me when you look back at the conference championship games. Now, for some reason, they called down and they gave the Chiefs a redo on the play because an official wasn't ready and all that. And they were from New York. But it's from New York. Devontae Smith clearly didn't catch that ball on a 4th down play, and they couldn't make that call from New York that didn't happen. They allowed the Eagles to rush to the line and snap the ball and make that, and continue that drive without it being challenged before Kyle Shanahan could challenge. And with the last few seconds, that's just something to think about. Steve Wilkes, defensive coordinator. Brian Flores got a defensive coordinator job. Still 2 head coaching jobs open. Heard the commissioner address the still need for more minority head coaches and stuff like that. D'Amico Ryan's been the only minority coach that's picked up so far out of the 5 jobs that was available. We see the Cardinals are leaning towards somebody that's not a minority They got two candidates that they heavy on, and neither one of them are a minority. Maybe the coach will change the game and then me that job, the enemy, or get that job or whatever. But talk people things that we should be tired of looking at. But that's my time for the show. Thanks to Sports for America for putting me on. Remember, Nerd Focus, get your brain right and your game tight with the Nerd Focus energy drink. And don't forget to check out my other show, Stimulate Your Mind, every Tuesday, 5:30 p.m. Eastern. Y'all have a good one out there on this Wednesday. Oh, one more shout out. Shout out to J&J Professional Transportation Services. If you're a shipper and you need shipments moved, goods moved, holler at J&J. Have a good one.